I went to the Vietnam War and basically didn't come home for 16 years. You'd be on an operation and you hook up with some company and they take a break for a smoke. And the guy next to you says, who are you? Your uniform's a little different. You say, well, I'm a reporter. You say, you're a civilian? Yeah. And you're out here with me? Yeah. Man, they must pay you a lot of money. No, not really. I work for United Press, the cheapest news agency in the world. Oh, he'd say, the light goes on in his eyes. He'd say, you're crazy as hell. And once he had you pigeonholed, it was okay. The guy next to him would say, who the hell is that? He'd say, oh, it's some crazy reporter. I look at the battlefields that I was on, and I think it was, just miraculous that I was not wounded or killed. I had not a scratch on me in half a dozen wars and revolutions that I covered as a reporter. And I don't understand why it's so. I never will. People were killed standing right beside me. Two of us jumped up to run into the napalm fire and pull these boys out who were on fire. And the other guy who jumped up was a medic, and he was shot and killed before he could get there. I jumped up and ran into the fire and got Jim Nakayama and brought him out of that fire. Not a scratch, not a scratch. My homecoming, I guess, was different from most of the young men who served their 12 months and came home and had to really hide the fact that they had served their country in Vietnam. And that's a matter of some bitterness. I must say that my brother veterans have forgiven the country, have forgiven Americans for the way they were treated for the most part. I'm not sure I have. I'm still bitter on their behalf. It took me a couple of 3 years to where I could actually walk down to the wall and face up to all those names. For the first couple of years, I sat up in the trees. There's some benches up there, and you kind of get the feel of the majesty of the wall, but not the details. The details are sometimes very hard. We needed to check the names of all of our dead. We were going to put those names in the front of our book, and we needed to double check that with the official record to make sure we had everybody's name and hometown correct. And so I was on my way to work, and I stopped early one morning, and I don't know if it was an accident or an accident on purpose, but I stopped on the wrong side of the wall to go to the kiosk where the Park Service sold the book of names. And I had to buy that for our research. And I had to walk the length of the wall to get there. And I came to panel 3 East with 305 names. And I now, because of our research, I knew every one of them. I knew every one of them. I knew his family. I knew what his dreams were. And I just froze. I stood there for probably 45 minutes, unmoving. I couldn't move. Very hard, very hard.